One of the most powerful things that you can do in your life is to know yourself to the core. What do I mean by this? Well, simply put, being more conscious and aware of yourself enables you to live a better, more fulfilling life. Now, how do I know this? Well, whatever it is that I preach, I practice. And so far, it's been working for me, and I want to pass the knowledge on to you. Knowledge that doesn't just eat up your time, but something that you can use to empower yourself and get to living the life that you want to live, and doing so on your own terms. Now, that's very important to me. Living life on my own terms is something I work towards and I make sacrifices for. And if you watch my videos, chances are you're working to live life on your own terms as well. And that begs the question, how do we get to live life on our own terms? How do we get to the point where we are living our lives to the absolute fullest? Well, a while back, I read a book by Stephen Covey called The 7 Steps of Highly Effective People. And one of those 7 steps is to begin with the end in mind. This entails thinking, imagining, visualizing where you want to be. What do things look like after you've crossed the finish line? Who are you surrounded by? What lifestyle are you now able to enjoy? You want to know where it is that you want to be. You want to begin with the end in mind. But hold on. What if we don't know what it is that we want? And I'm talking about really knowing what it is that we want. What if we only have a vague idea of what we want? Now, I think that more of us than we like to admit have a general idea as to what we want. But when we zoom in into closer detail, there's likely to be a lack of specific direction at some point. And that's what I'm talking about here on this video. We know that we want to live a life that resonates with us. We know that an optimal way to achieve that is to begin with the end in mind, as we just talked about. And we know to begin with the end in mind, we have to know ourselves. Now let's figure out how we can better know ourselves so that we can inch closer to the life that we truly want to live. And before we get into the fine details, I'd like to take a second and ask that if you like this video, please leave a like. And if you find my content valuable, then subscribe to the channel and be sure to hit that bell icon down below so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos in the future. The first thing you can do is to give yourself some time and space to be alone. Sit with a journal and start thinking. Write things down that roll off your mind. Just do it, no filter whatsoever. Whatever comes to your mind, whether it's an idea, an expression, or something that you'd like to do, or something you don't like happening to you, write it down. Get everything, and I mean everything, on paper. This helps you to gain clarity on things as you can further dissect them when you have them down in written form. You can also practice meditation. I talk about meditation in one of my videos, and I'll leave a link here for you to watch if you're new to the idea, just for your convenience. A third thing that you can do is to simply move into doing things that you think you'd enjoy and do it with an open mind. This can come into the form of hobbies. Just explore general interests that you may already have and don't really worry about it. Just explore them, just try it out. You never really know until you try, as the saying goes. A fourth thing that you can do is to examine what you really liked doing as a kid. There's a joke that I heard a while back, and it went something like this. There are only 2 types of honest people in this world: drunk people and children. But isn't it true that, kids are for the most part honest, because they haven't learned to put up the social barriers and masks like me and you have. And they operate with little to no filter. And that's not just in conversation, that's in action as well. Their actions are as honest as their words. And now that we better understand this, I want you to reflect back on the things that you did as a child, the ideas you had, the things you said, what really mattered to you. That's the big one right there. What mattered to you most as a kid. Brainstorm, meditate on that. Lastly, 5. I'm providing you with a list of 30 questions that you can ask yourself right now to get to know yourself better. You don't have to write the questions down. I have them listed in the description so you can refer to them and can copy and paste them and do whatever suits you best. And very importantly, very important, be sure to answer them honestly. What activity in your life lights you up with joy? What is something you always love doing, even when you are tired or rushed? If a relationship or job makes you unhappy, do you choose to stay or leave? What do you fear about leaving a bad job or a bad relationship? What do you believe is possible for you? What have you done in your life that you are most proud of? What is the thing that you are second most proud of? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? How does your being here in the universe change humanity for the better? Now, if you could have one single wish granted, what would it be? How comfortable are you with your own mortality? What is your highest core value? To your best knowledge, how do other people perceive you? How would you like others to perceive you? How confident are you in your abilities to make decisions for yourself? What is your biggest self-limiting belief? That's a big one right there. Who is the most important person in your life? Who is your greatest role model? Who is a person that you don't like, yet you spend time with? Oh man. What is something that is true for you no matter what? What is your moral compass in making difficult decisions? What is one failure that you have turned into your greatest lesson? What role does gratitude play in your life? How do you feel about your parents? How is your relationship with money? What is your relationship with yourself? How do you feel about growing old someday? What role has formal education played in your life, and how do you feel about it? Do you believe your destiny is predetermined or in your hands to shape however you wish? And lastly, what do you believe is the meaning of your life? Now remember to answer these questions honestly and transparently, and from your answers, you'll have a much better idea as to where you stand. So let's recap. We know that we want to live a life to the fullest and on our own terms. We know that an optimal way to achieve that is to begin with the end in mind, as discussed earlier. We know to begin with the end in mind, we have to know ourselves. And now we know some actionable steps that we can take to truly learn more and understand ourselves. This is a process that takes time and is actually ongoing. So don't feel pressured that you have to figure all this out within a given time range. But do remember, the sooner you know yourself, the faster you can align yourself with a life that really means something to you. If you like this video, then I would kindly like to ask for you to please leave a like. And if you learned something new, please leave a comment down below. Alternatively, if you want me to dedicate a video on something within the realms of self-development or spirituality, then leave a comment below as well. And as I said before, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so that you are notified when I push out a new video, which for the time being is every Sunday. Thank you very much for watching, and in my native tongue, I say, ha home.